What's up, guys? Welcome to Can I Kick It? We're here at Out to Lunch Production Studios for the first time, hanging with Chris and Casey, trying to, I guess, figure out what we're doing, you know. But, so we wanted to bring you a cool little inspirational, positive story from my co-host, my man Alex. He's gonna give you something cool to think about and hear for a while, you know. So I'll kind of set it up. We talked about it last episode. My parents are involved in the church, and typically once a year they bring in a choir of African children called the Kawasa Kids. You know, they do cool vocal stuff. They have drums, dance, all that stuff. But so it was. Ralph will tell you the times and dates and stuff. But my brother and I were on the way there, and we saw my man hanging out on Main Street, you know, feeling a little blue. So we stopped and talked to him, and I'm gonna kind of let Ralph tell you from there what's going on, you know, or what happened. So take it over.
Yeah, dude. Ralphie. So this is a pretty important story. You know, a lot of times in people's lives they'll have defining moments, things that stick out to them in their memory. You know, a lot of your life. You know, I've been thinking about this lately. A lot of your life happens and you don't even remember it. I mean, yeah, you know, like so much of your life goes by and you just don't remember it. But there's a big. This one stands out. It's like highlighted in bright yellow.
Oh yeah. Wild.
Yeah. So a little background. I was homeless for a while due to my drug addiction. I was deep into meth use, IV meth use, which I'm not ashamed to say now. I think a lot of people do drugs because they're trying to cover up some sort of extreme emotion that they can't contain, you know. These days I've learned a lot about emotional balance, thanks to NA, AA, a lot of therapy. I've had some problems since I was a kid, but
sobriety in general.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Just and being sober is more than just not doing drugs or not doing alcohol. It has a lot to do with emotional balance, and that's what I keep coming back to. I've always been anyone who knows me knows that I've been pretty emotionally unbalanced, and you know it's funny because a lot of people like that about me. And to some degree, they're like, that guy's wild. You know,
yeah, you don't come across many Ralphs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you always, people remember you, dude.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm always surprised when people come up to me and they're like, you remember this thing that you did or this thing you gave me?
Yeah.
And it brings me right back to that time. I'm like, oh, yeah. That was kind of further emphasized by... when we started this podcast, when I did that first little intro video, the outreach from people was, it blew me away.
Yeah.
How many people actually care and want to hear. So this particular instance that you're talking about, little background, I had burned all my bridges with my family. I was out on the street. All I had was a guitar, and I don't even think it was my guitar. I think it was one I borrowed off the Austin Sprinkle. Shout out to Austin Sprinkle from Leaving Knox. Great dude. Been friends with him since he was younger, but so that was my primary mode of making money, was playing that guitar. And that particular day was October 8th or 7th, and like you said, Thursday Church had this so Thursday Church is predicated upon the reason that when they started, they a lot of their money, a lot of people don't know this about Thursday Church in Vincennes. Like I said, once again, I don't claim to be Christian, but I really do back Thursday Church. They take a lot of their profits from Gracie's, the restaurant, where you used to work.
Yep.
And they
shout out to Jordan Shields.
Still
working out there, slanging.
So they send a lot of their money over to Africa, and I don't know the specific details, but what are they building wells?
No, it's a
water wells.
It's an orphanage for children whose parents are passed away from AIDS or infected by AIDS. But it's constantly growing and growing, and those kind of things need support from
the community. Yeah, and we'll be glad to back Thursday Church any day of the week with this podcast, however we can. If you have any resources that you can allocate, towards Thursday church, let us know, and we'll put you in touch with the right people.
Spread love.
Debbie Salters is the point of contact there, but we'll get into that later. So anyway, my Aunt Mary Lou was like a mother to me growing up. A lot of you guys might know her. Mary Lou Ray was her name. And she was a very saintly person. I'm not just saying this because she was my aunt. She went out of her way to help people all over this town. She was like a second mother to me growing up. And I spent a lot of time, she saw me going through hard stuff, but she had been in hospitals, nursing homes, bouncing back and forth due to kidney failure. She had diabetes as well, and her bones and her legs were kind of like liquefying, basically. She's always wearing boots for the past 2 years of her life, those air casts or whatever.
Yeah.
But she had been fighting, constantly on dialysis, and man, that's something I feel really bad about is I didn't go up and see her as much as I should have. But she understood the few times I talked to her when she was actually lucid enough to talk. She told me that's a big reason I got sober, because I know, and wherever she's at now, we don't want to get into all of that right now, like where people go when they die, but she would want me to get my shit together and stop destroying myself out of anger. And she showed unconditional love to me regardless of what was going on.
Absolutely.
So anyway, she was at her final couple days, and I went to Princeton. Kathy Seibel picked me up, and I was in bad shape. I was homeless, kicked out of Dad's. All I had was that guitar. So
a buck knife, I think.
Yeah, and a giant buck
knife. Yeah,
the
giant knife. It was awesome.
And my basic, I had that giant rucksack on me that I carried around, and I rode a bike around, and I had all my living supplies in there. And you know what? I was actually content with living like that, which is ridiculous. Come to think of it, it wasn't winter yet, so I was still. It was fall, So anyway, cut to the chase here. I went to visit her at the nursing home, and I saw her for the last time because the doctors had told us, and the people at the nursing home, which Kathy Seibel runs in Princeton, Living Waters, I think is the name of that place. And I had Kim Clymer drop me off. That's my cousin, Jeremy Clymer's mom. And she dropped me off at the liquor store in Vincennes because I was just going to drink about it. And I bought a couple cans, big tall boys of beer, and I went down to my spot on Main Street that has free Wi-Fi, that little pocket park, and I was sitting there jamming. I bought the beer after that because I made money playing guitar down there. I was just freestyling, just making stuff up, which I like to do still to this day. But so anyway, I was in bad shape. Like I was about to do something ridiculous. I was looking for a bag of dope. I go walking down Main Street, and this is one of those instances in life where it seems like there was this divine intervention of some kind.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was a God moment for sure, and I'm not.
Things lined up,
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm walking down Main Street, and Kyler pulls up in the Durango with Bob and River, right?
Yep.
And I'm carrying the guitar and all this stuff, and he said, "Hey man, you want to go to church?" And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Mary Lou would probably want me to go, and I was in one of the worst places I've ever been in my life. I'm surprised I'm telling this story right now on a live podcast, but I think people need to hear this for different reasons. But so Kyler picks me up. We go into the church, and these kids from Africa have come over. The kids that were raised in the orphanage are musically inclined. Like I would say that they're more talented than most people I know.
It was wild, dude.
It's a choir. They have drums. They have choreography.
Yeah, the dance.
Not something that I would normally think, hey, let's go check out that African children's choir.
Yeah.
And so we go in, and I don't know what to expect. I'm surrounded by people. I'm super paranoid because I feel so bad about myself. I have so much shame about the state of my life and shortcomings, not being there for my children, things like that. And we go in, and they start playing. And man, it's hard to put into words. They start singing and playing, and this feeling came over me like this is exactly where I was supposed to be. It was unreal. And everyone at Thursday church said hi. They were smiling. And I've always been real weary of the Christian church, like any Christian church. Like I always felt when I go in and they're doing their praise stuff, I feel super awkward. I didn't grow up in that kind of environment.
Right.
I have a bad history with authority and church and government and school. You know, I always had major problems with that. They start singing. They sing this song. I can still hear it in my head. How did that go? Do you remember? It was. I can still hear it. Somebody's crying was the main line of it.
Heaven opened up, or it was something like that.
It's really a generic statement, really, but it hit differently, you know. And so it was like I was supposed to be there, and everybody was there with open arms. And at that one moment, I realized, and it didn't happen right away because I overdosed after that.
Yeah.
Actually. So that was it's a good example of how, even though you haven't made a decision to do something yet, there are these seeds being planted in your life.
Right. And I think in a roundabout way, Mary Lou led you to that spot on Main Street where I picked you up. You know what I mean?
I don't understand it completely, but yeah.
Right. And I mean, it was almost like her talking through the choir to you.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like to me. You know what I mean? I was sitting right next to you. I felt it for you. You know what I mean? Like I was feeling it for you.
Yeah. I was just leaking. You know.
Yeah.
Just tears.
It was dope, dude.
Of joy.
It was dope.
And it's funny because although I miss her, like I was able to accept in that one moment that she was gone and that she led an amazing life.
Yeah.
She led an amazing life and she had nothing to regret in her life. And that's something that we should all be shooting towards. A lot of times we get wrapped up in the day-to-day and we start thinking about short-term gains, paychecks, buying that next TV, cars, whatever, and we forget. And I've always had this sort of philosophy. I don't always follow it, but when I think about my life and what I want out of life, I always remember one thing first. That's how am I going to feel when I'm laying there on my deathbed, if I'm lucky enough to know that I'm dying. You know, a lot of people say they want to die in their sleep. I don't. I want to know I'm dying so I can conclude everything. And I don't know what happens after you die. I have some speculations, but if you can look back at your life and smile, you know, this is my big philosophy. If you can smile while you're on your deathbed and you're getting ready to die, and you know that you did the absolute best you could, you loved as much as you could, you were kind as you possibly could, and I'm not perfect. I hope I can do this without shaking and being scared of death. Something I think about a lot. It's probably pretty morbid, really. But I look at that through the lens of how am I going to feel when I'm dying before I make any major decision. And in this one particular instance, when the kids are singing and I'm filled with the Spirit. It's the closest I'll ever come to feeling what they talk about in churches, or Islam or Buddhism, being filled with the Holy Spirit. Intense moment. So I went on to, from this moment, there was a seed planted, and I kept battling out. I didn't have anywhere to go. The VA, it was kind of hard with the VA. I finally got some help through drug court because I was arrested from my overdose at Kyler's house. I snuck some heroin in Kyler's bathroom, shot it up, and overdosed on the floor. It turned out to be fentanyl. So big heads up to people out there, if you get wrapped up in heroin or
even coke now, dude. Justin Townes Earl's coke was fentanyl laced.
Yeah, rest in peace, Justin Townes Earl. So I got some fentanyl, bad batch. Wasn't even supposed to buy heroin that day, but it's what was on the table from the dealer. And so I go in the bathroom, think I'm going to sneak a quick one, come back out, and flopped out on the floor. I don't remember any of it. I woke up and the paramedics were around me, and I knew most of the paramedics because my family, Adam Ray, and my uncle Mick they're firemen, and they're involved with EMTs, and I knew Mary Yoakum's brother, I can't remember his name right off the top, but he was there. And what did I say to him when I woke up?
I don't even remember.
You were giving me CPR, right?
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. Yeah, they were telling me on the phone. They were telling me on the phone how to do it. Yeah. It was wild, dude. But no, you told him. You told him you were drinking and fell asleep. Or I don't. It was something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. They weren't buying it.
Nah,
because they gave me 2 shots of Narcan.
Yeah, everybody knew what was up. You know what I mean?
Hell, even Jeremy was there. You know, I didn't know that till later. Jeremy got a hold of me and said, "Climber," and he said, "Man, I was there. That was really scary. I'm glad you're okay." And so from there, I ended up going to court. And I'm still dabbling in drugs even after that, which is ridiculous. That just goes to show you the power of drug use, you know. This is more of a serious podcast. We'll get back to funny stuff later. Don't think this is the overall tone of the podcast. This is just something I need to share. So I get arrested, and I want to take a moment here to praise. This seems contradictory to people who are kind of counterculture. Drug court is a great program. It's a pain in my ass sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but
that's the point. I think they
want
to bug you into
every day you call
fucking doing it.
Every day you call a hotline, and it tells you whether or not you have to drug test that day.
Yeah.
Which has been instrumental because there were times when I was weak that I might have used or something. And rest in peace, Ryan Johanningsmeyer was a big component of this drug court thing. So my drug court counselor, Joe Williams, gets a hold of, excellent dude by the way, Joe Williams. He's helped me in more ways than just drug stuff. He's helped me with public services, diplomacy as far as delegating to the court system. A lot of people are sketchy about that. They feel suspicious.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of meth and stuff like that.
Right.
So he got a hold of the VA for me, and anybody who knows the VA, it's a nightmare of bureaucracy. He got a hold of my representatives at the VA, got me into rehab in a day.
Yeah.
I finally broke down and went to him because I knew all these drug tests and stuff were coming, and I said, I can't do it. I can't stay sober. So he got me shipped off to rehab. I walked down in the freezing rain to the VA, did my admittance thing, and then they sent me off to rehab. I went to rehab at Brentwood Springs, excellent facility. 28 days, then the VA sent me to a program called RRTP over in Illinois, which I was there for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, that's a long
during COVID.
Long haul.
Yeah. But I mean, I think everybody knew instantly when I got out of there, and I'll talk about that another time. You know, the recovery stuff. You don't want to give away too much of the recovery stuff because it is anonymous, and we don't want to use it to promote our podcast because that would be kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, huge experience. So this episode's more about reaching out to people who are in the middle of drug use. Like, your life doesn't have to be boring. Your life doesn't have to be because you get sober. Your life doesn't have to be boring. It can be amazing and fulfilling. Like, I wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now if I hadn't gotten sober and started accomplishing little things.
Yeah.
My kids are back in my life. I'm doing a great job of raising them. Life is good, dude.
Yeah.
And it all started that that's just one of the, like I said earlier in the beginning of the podcast, that was a memory.
Yeah, a seed planted.
That sticks out. And
a piece to the puzzle.
Even if you're not a Christian, maybe reach out to Thursday Church. If nothing else, it'll give you a little bit of acceptance until you can accept yourself, I think.
Yeah, and it's nice feeling like you belong to something, even if you don't know why you do.
And you also want to let people know about, community.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. You also want people to know about Gracie's and their free meal program for people that are struggling.
Yeah. The kitchen my brother runs, it's owned by Thursday Church. It's not, there's not endless funds, you know what I mean, but there are funds if you're struggling, if you're homeless, if you're in the middle of addiction, you know, and you need to nourish your body. You need a warm meal. You need to sit in the heat for a little while, get a drink, whatever. Go down there and talk to my brother Jordan, man. He's been through it. He knows the ins and outs of everything you could be going through. And go talk to that dude. He'll feed you good food, and at least you know what I mean.
Clothes if you need.
Yeah. There's a thrift store right there. You know, just a lot of resources that people in need can use, and it's a.
There's no shame in being fed up with your life the way you're living it. There's no shame in it.
No, dude, they're happy to see people like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of people in that state think nobody wants to see me or talk to me, but that's one place where you can go and people are happy to see you in that state. You know what I mean? They want to help you. They want you to get better. You know, it's beautiful. It's really fucking beautiful.
And one of the problems that I had with getting sober is I felt like everybody was against me. Everywhere I go, I felt like people were watching me, and that's just part of you're actually damaging your amygdala when you are doing heavy drugs like that. And what that does is it makes you paranoid. I mean, it makes you think people are against you. So don't feel like when you're in the middle of your drug addiction, you're going to have some shame and you're going to have some stuff that you need to work through, but you need to get to a point where life means more than the drugs. And I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but
that's tough, man. It's tough.
But there's no shame, and you know what? And one of the big problems I had when I got sober was feeling like life was going to be boring and cool, and like I was selling out or something, which is a ridiculous idea, but it was very real to me. Yeah. And I'm not knocking people that still get high or drink. You know, that's fine. Some people do it normally. I don't know how they do it, but I can't do it. I can't drink and I can't do drugs. You know, maybe down the road I might smoke some weed or something, but I don't even know about that.
Right.
Right now it's not even a priority. I don't think about it that much. Yeah. Anyway, my point was that if you're in that spot, if you're out there in that spot, reach out to me. I'll tell you my story. All I can do is relate. I can't tell you how to live your life, and I'm not going to try. But yeah, that's what happened to me. So that's pretty much the story.
Yeah.
Wrap it up
and it's a great story, dude. I mean, it's
you kind of had to have been there.
I was going to say you did a great job of conveying the story, but yeah, it was one of those kind of, like I said, I was sitting right next to the dude, and I could feel his feelings. You know what I mean? That's for real. I could, and no, it was just a really neat instance of the universe forcing us to cross paths to create this beautiful moment and to create that memory that Ralph needed, that he still holds, close and dear.
Yeah.
That happened for a reason, and that's cool. You know what I mean? And if you're struggling, just keep pushing, because you're gonna have a moment like that. You know what I mean? If you
everyone I've talked to in recovery has had those moments.
Right.
And it's up to you whether you ignore them or...
Right. And you can, I believe you can manifest those. You know what I mean, dude? If you want it to happen, it'll happen. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not Christian, but I pray sometimes. And if you're not big on the subscription that when you pray into God or whatever you want to call it, here's an idea that I picked up from Freud's book. I can't remember which book it was, but I was reading Freud when I was in jail. And he says that when you pray, you're praying to your subconscious mind.
Right.
That God is in your subconscious mind and is in everyone's subconscious mind. So when you pray, you're actually sending requests to your subconscious, because really your subconscious, in a roundabout way, in an indirect way, controls everything in your life. So try praying.
Yeah.
You don't have to pray to God. Pray to yourself. Send some messages down into your dream state, your subconscious, and that's magic. It's a magical thing. It's divine at the very least. And so sometimes I pray and I can actually see things changing.
Results.
Yeah, I see results, or I'm planting seeds, and that's kind of the whole theme of this.
Yeah.
This little segment we're doing here is that you're planting seeds.
Yeah.
And
baby steps, dude. People, don't put too much pressure on yourself to make a quick change. You know what I mean? Do what you can when you can. Don't overwhelm yourself. You
don't have to think about it as you're changing for society either, because that's what kept me back from recovery.
Right. Now you're changing for yourself.
For yourself, and there really is a better life to be had than doing meth. This meth is a scary, horrible drug.
Yeah.
I've done pretty much every drug there is to do, and that was the worst one. I mean, they all have their bad parts, but that one was particularly. It's a battle on your soul.
Yeah, it's ugly, dude.
It eats your body and your mind and your soul. So.
But you're here now, dude.
Yeah,
you're
I'm doing
right next to me.
You're strong.
Sober, telling your story.
Thanks for being there, Kyler.
Well, yeah, man. Absolutely.
You were there even when it got bad when everybody else abandoned.
I wasn't going anywhere, dude. But, well, thanks for sharing that, dude.
No problem, man. I think we're gonna get some other people to come on and talk about their stuff as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I want to do. I want to tell those stories of victory and conquering those demons, dude. Everybody's got them. You know what I mean? You got to figure out how to battle them and win. But we've done that. I'm still working on doing that. They're always going to be there. But I'm happy that Ralph's here telling this story now with us, and it was great. You know what I mean? Mary Lou sent you there and talked to you through those kids, and I that's crazy. It's crazy, and it's real.
Life is
and it's
magic
wild, dude, man. But
if you pay attention, life can be pretty magical.
Yeah. But all right, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. Once again, we're here at Out to Lunch Production Studios.
Shout out to Chris Lucas.
Yeah,
Excellent
Casey's been snapping some stills for us. We'll get those out soon. But yeah, well, thanks for letting us kick it. And until next time, I'm Kyler.
I'm Alex.
Have a good one.